Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our June huddle meeting this morning. I want to welcome everyone. Special thank you to Miss Ann and Mr. Al, my cohorts in this. We all know that it's been pretty tough with this last incident we just had, but prayers go out to everyone in that town. And then without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my good friend, Mr. McFarlane.
Thank you, Diana, and good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ann. And to all of you, I'm glad to have all of you here. And let us begin the agenda today. Normally we'd have our COVID update, but I think Louisa is not here this morning. If she comes in later, we'll bring her back on. But let's move straight to the safety report with Bill Magnuson. Bill, how you doing, man? Oh, but before that, Bill, I have some season tickets to the Twins. And I'd like to make some of them available to members of the precinct and to take kids or to give to kids to go to Twins games. So let me know if that's something that you can help me with, okay?
Yeah, I will. I'll talk to the inspector today about that, and then we'll get back to you and see how we can make that happen. That's very kind of you, Al. I appreciate that.
Sir.
Okay, so for the month of May for the Hawthorne neighborhood for May, we had 2 homicides, and that was that double shooting that took place on West Broadway and Bryant at the food truck. There was 3 rapes, 8 robberies, 14 aggravated assaults, 7 burglaries, 12 thefts, 5 auto thefts, 1 crimes. And like I like to remind everybody, a part 1 crime is anytime there's a victim involved in a crime. So it's the more serious ones of the nature. So that's what we had for the month of May. Does anybody have any questions?
Diana?
Okay, Bill, so we know the kids is getting out of school. Is there anything different that's going to happen? I mean, I know we're short on officers, but has there been any thought given to how we're going to keep these kids under control this year?
Well, we're going to work with some of our community partners like we did last year, and that seemed to help. So we have 21 Days of Peace with Reverend McAfee's group. We have A Mother's Love. That is one of our community partners that helps us out. And then we have Trey Pollard's group. We push for peace that we use him and then his group. And then we met with the inspector and I and my colleague Shannon McDonough met with this young gentleman that has, I think it's called Strongman Group. And that he sometimes will provide his men that he works, his employees, to our Office of Violence Prevention, what we found out. So we're going to use him a lot too with his group. So we have these community partners in place. And like with Trey Pollard and Reverend McAfee's group and Mother's Love, I know for a fact they all individuals and try to get them resources they need to try to get them to turn their lives around and also provide a presence to help us out. So I'm going to look into, because one of the things that happened is, I don't know, but on May 14th, the Sanctuary Covenant Church took over the parking lot at Merwin's and their parking lot, put in some new implementations, got some security. So they pushed some of the activity off of that parking lot. But then we got a complaint that some of that activity has moved over to the Salvation Army and they're having issues over there. And so now I'm going to talk to the inspector today about using one of our community partners to go provide a presence over there. So, and that was my fear when that happened, is like, we're going to try to go from one area and get it cleaned up and help out that area, but it was just going to move. So it's just one of those things that we just got to stay on top of. But that's where we're at right now. And that we just use those groups because it's also community partners. It's also working with our community, building trust within our community, and then also helping us out because we are such short staffed.
Mm-hmm. That's good though. It's good to know that there at least is a plan. You know, it's just not, well, we're just out here. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, Inspector Adams is very, very on top of things. So.
Great, thank you. Any more questions? Bill, thank you so very, very much. Let's now go to Brother Clarence Jones with a report from Human. Brother Clarence? Unmute.
I'm sorry about that. I'm forgetful. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to once again to be here and to report about the work that Human is doing with Hawthorne. We're very excited about it, and I have to do a full disclosure today. We're honoring people. All of them are members of Human, and I had nothing to do with it. nothing. And I don't know if Diana knew that all of these people were a part of Human, but they are part of Human. They're part of the work that we're doing in the community. And all I will say is that we have put a couple things in the newsletter that will talk about our work, but there's a lot of things that's happening. And so we are utilizing people from our community in order to address some of the issues. And so we'll talk about that a little bit later, but that's my report. We'll hear from our people first later.
Questions or comments? Clarence, thank you. Thank you for, Andy, you have a question or comment? Okay. Clarence, thank you for the wonderful work and for your partnership. Let's move on to honoring those who make us better. And Clarence, I think you're going to do this, and Diana and me.
And you're right. Yeah,
yeah.
Right. Okay. So the first honoree is Mr. Willie Dominguez, and I met Willie when he first when he was in office, and had the opportunity to talk with him and to kind of get a feeling from him. And I didn't realize that, in my work that I would have the opportunity to work with him again. But when Human started, Willie was on board with us along when we in our creation and in the work that we did. Willie is a North Sider, born on the North Side. I'm not going to mention that your age, Willie, or the date that you were born, but you've been around a long time. And Willie was, as I said before, he was a state representative for this area. He has been working with PICA, and he is also the co-chair of Human. So when you see me a lot, but you have to also understand that Human has a lot of different partners. And so Willie is the co-chair. And I'm gonna say this real quick while I'm here. Sean has been with us since the beginning, and Prince is a star. But somebody has already said that. But anyway, but we're talking about Willie. But Willie has been a wonderful supporter of the work that's happening in North Minneapolis, and so we're very honored to have him. And as you can see on the screen, this is Mr. Augustine Willie Dominguez, and he is being honored for his work that he has done in the past as a North Sider, but he's also the head of the male involvement program in PICA. And it says here, for outstanding vision, dedication, and commitment to excellence. Thanks for putting community first. And I can assure you that when you hear Human, you also are hearing the term Willie Dominguez. So I think that we're very honored. And I guess they're going to ask you to say a couple of words, Willie. Is that right? Okay. And Willie got a lot of words, so we'll it's a good thing we got a mute button. Come on, Willie.
Well, it's pretty early in the morning, so I don't want to say too much, but firsthand, I really appreciate this award. It really hits my heart because it comes from the North Side of Minneapolis. It's really an honor to be part of so many communities that we work together. Some people say that you're rich by dollars. Well, I feel I'm rich by community, working with all these organizations, putting things together to make it better and go forward with our community over here on the North Side of Minneapolis. And I have to say, we have worked over South too, doing a variety of community events, being part of a larger community, a village that is really trying to work hard for both communities. And it's a joy to be part of that. And that's what I've always done in my life. I come from a family of 19, I'm the 18th, so it's always been inclusive. And I want to continue to do that. Again, this is something very special. Working with PICA and my team, we've worked very hard, working with Human, working with Father Festivals, working with all these entities, and had the privilege to work also and voted in at the Minnesota House of Representatives to represent the district that I lived in, or still continue to live in. That's really rich. And so I appreciate the support from my family, my friends, all of you that have helped support each other, because it takes a community to work forward. It doesn't happen just by one person. It happens with all of us. And I've always said that we need to be more inclusive because there's different variety of folks that are coming into our communities and welcome them because that's how it works. When it comes to voting, when it comes to support, when it comes to housing, homelessness, all that, we need to work together. So I appreciate this so much, but as I mentioned last month, excuse me, I'm at the retirement age. I don't know what the next chapter is going to look like, but God willing, I'll see you all and possibly work something out that I can continue to do something for our north side of Minneapolis. It's a beautiful thing, believe me, to work with you all folks. And I made some very good relationships throughout this journey that I've had working in different capacities. So I thank you again. I better stop there because I might even get to crying here. So, so thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thanks, Clarence.
I guess I'm up, Al, huh?
Yes, let me make one more comment about Willie Dominguez. I want to tribute to him for his long-running show on KFAI. Willie Dominguez El Bilingüe, who bringing Spanish Latino culture to us, global vision, a beautiful and powerful voice. Willie, thank you. Mil gracias para su servicio. Bien hecho.
Gracias.
Okay. All right, Diana, go ahead.
Thank you, Al, because I was just going to acknowledge Tim for that same thing. But before I introduce our next honoree, Clarence, you had asked a question about the winners and how we do this. And so Ann and I, we put our head together. But remember what I told you. I've been watching people for a long time, and I watched the work that they do. And so all of this, just the energy and synergy comes together when Ann and I put our heads together. So that's how these people come about. And they're in our community some kind of way, or they're doing work in Minneapolis. So that's where the pick comes from, okay?
Thank you.
So now
to do with it.
Yeah. So now to my person, I don't know how I could really say this is not one of mine. Princess and I go back. Oh, I think when I first came here and you were helping my daughter. And let me tell you about Princess. First of all, she's the co-founder and senior engagement officer for Appetite for Change. She's a writer, she's a speaker, she works on violence prevention, and she's passionate about working with families to build healthier foundations. I have never met someone, I thought I ran a lot. I think she got me beat because she's younger than me, but I think she has me beat. I have seen this woman take on 5 to 6 tasks. And guess what? Most of it all involves families, our babies, helping someone, being a community activist. So I just really have to give Princess her accolades. I can't say enough about her because just like I said, she values accountability, she's compassionate, she's appreciative, and she enjoys laughter. So I'm Princess, I am so honored to give you this award today because you truly deserve this. And with that being said, can we kind of hear some words from you, Miss Princess, please?
Wow. I wore my good dress. I'm amazed. I don't have no words. It's a different season of my life, and I'm grateful, of course. I never do it to be told that I'm doing it, but to hear, and okay, Willie, thanks for the tears, Willie, because I'm gonna finish up crying for you. But to come on and for Carrie Jo to say that I met Jasmine. And I literally was like trying to fill up a water cup, got halfway through filling it up and came outside like, hey, what y'all working on? What's going on? What y'all do? I want to hear what you do. I want to hear what you do. And I was able to kind of pour in. I I believe we got some gallon people and some 16-ounce water bottle and some 4-ounce water bottle people. And it's good to be in the room with 5-gallon people who can feel me so that I can continue to feel other people. And it's those people who we maybe walk past or ride past and wonder, have they given up? And those are the people also that I like to talk to. So there's not anywhere I won't go. There's not anyone I won't talk to. I believe that everyone deserves a little bit of hope, a little bit of compassion, and a little bit of appreciation and laughter. So thank you for the award. I will hang it on my wall. Like, I made a space back there. Like, okay, I'm gonna start hanging my accolades. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Clarence, for allowing me to participate with Human Partnership, and teaching me how to vet people and see if people are standing true to what they're saying and doing. I've learned a lot working with you all and look forward to the work to come. Thank you. Oh, and I'm excited about I don't know if it's time to say this yet, but we're having our overdose prevention and safety training on June 27th, July 11th, and July 25th. Shameless plug, but we'll get this out to you all. Thank you. And I think it's in the newsletter too, right, Diane?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So now I'll talk about Sean Lewis. Let me say, I've been watching and listening to Sean for a long, long time, and I can tell you that he is an impressive, I call him human being par excellence, a thinker, an organizer, a planner, a doer, and a person operating with a set of principles and high integrity that set a standard for all of us to look at and imitate and emulate. Sean presently is at the Minneapolis Parks Foundation, unless that's changed from the information I have. He's a product of the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. He's active in the community in a whole bunch of areas, in wealth creation, in home ownership, in health concerns, and has connected with many and most organizations that are about building community. He's an experienced, according to his LinkedIn page, specialist with a demonstrated history of working in the governmental administration industry. He's skilled in nonprofit organizations, diversity training, project coaching, facilitation, and philanthropy. A Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Minnesota, focused in political science. And I know that he works with people on my team on a regular basis to help them sharpen their ideas, their analysis, and their approach to creating stories for Inside News. I've been trying to get Sean to write directly for Inside News for ages, but at some point in time, I'm gonna wear him down and I'm gonna get him. Just making that public announcement, because I think his insight is invaluable. I think he's clear. And he's on point, and he's a phenomenal researcher. He's a curator of facts and data, and a person that's able to put connections together that illuminate things that perhaps were hidden or not thought about or not remembered. He has a memory and a purpose, and he puts them both to use every day. So I'm pleased and proud to present the Award of Appreciation, recognizing Sean Lewis for outstanding vision, dedication, and commitment to excellence. Sean, thank you for all that you do for our community and for humanity. Sean.
Wow, that's an awful lot. Thank you so much. I'm deeply humbled by this recognition. And it makes me think about something that Dr. Martin Luther King talked about in one of his speeches. He talked about he didn't care about getting a Nobel Peace Prize. He didn't care about all the awards that he got. He just wanted to leave a committed life behind, because I understand what he says. You know, with the stuff with COVID and the other things going on, you never know when your time is going to come where you meet your maker. And you try to do the best that you can with what you have in the moment that you can. And that's what I've tried to live up to. And I know I stand on the shoulders of other people historically and other people locally. I'm so honored to be recognized with Princess and Willie. I've admired them both about their dedication and commitment to the community and to our humanity. And I'm at a place now where I'm at the Minneapolis Parks Foundation, and Brother Paul Balknight is the director, and we're involved in efforts that call about reimagining the civic commons, and that's why I'm here from Akron, Ohio. And we are about, trying to use the civic assets, parks, green spaces, libraries, and other community gathering spaces to achieve outcomes of community engagement, social mixing, and economic vitality, and also environmental sustainability. So we are working in North Commons Park. We're working to connect North Minneapolis residents and along the Mississippi River. So I feel so honored to be recognized, and I view myself as a servant leader, and I'm just trying to do the right thing. Willie talked about his large family. His large family is nothing compared to mine. I'm just the youngest of 7, and Southsider for all my life, and then get married and then move out in other areas. But I'm deeply humbled by receiving this award, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for all your work. Paul, good to see you again. Thank you for your team. I think we're in good hands, with people like Sean Lewis and Paul Balknight with the Parks Foundation. What's possible is unlimited. And I think it's a question of, recognizing the power of imagination. And, I think Sean brings informed imagination, and you couple that with the visionary leadership of a Paul Balknight and others around this table. I think we're on the edge of something new and something bright and something brilliant. So I thank you. I thank Princess. I thank you for your work and your vision. And I thank Brother Willie for all you have done and what you continue to do. You are a light among us, and your family is a legacy that I think the entire community and world can and should be proud of. So to all of you, thank you so very, very much. Then we will, any questions or comments? Anybody else want to heap some praise on people that are praiseworthy? Well,
Again, I just want to say we all couldn't do this work if it wasn't for us and our visions. We're really working hard over here on the north side. We just don't get that accolade that comes with it because of the things that happen in our community. But we are powerful.
Yeah.
And we continue to be that way. It just shows it by the people that show up at 7:30 in the morning and want to do the work. So thank you, y'all, so much. I really appreciate it. I really do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, let's move on to our main topic for today. Fascinating topic, a powerful, again, visionary opportunity. And I'm talking about the North High Community Solar Garden Project. Kyle Samajima, maybe I'm saying that wrong, but you can correct me, and Crystal Porter are here. Good morning to both of you. I'm turning the microphone over to you, and you can share and present as you wish.
Kyle, I've just made you a co-host because I understand you want to share a slideshow. Or shall I make Crystal the co-host?
I can do it, and we'll both be presenting, and she can just say next slide.
Yeah.
We need somebody to mute.
Oh, you mean one of us?
No, Mr. Peter.
Oh, okay. There we go. Let Princess back in. Anyway, my name is Kyle Samajima, and with Executive Director of Minneapolis Climate Action, and partner, colleague, friend with Christelle Porter. And if there's one reason to get up at 7 o'clock on a Thursday morning, it's this, to see all these amazing faces and so many of you that I have gotten to know a little bit or a lot, and just really honored to be here. I just want to give a shout out to Dira Yalamanchili, who is also here with Minneapolis Climate Action, and one of our fabulous interns from McAllister helping us this semester. Dira, if you want to just say hi quick. And
everyone.
And I'll hand it off to Christelle in a second, who will kick us off. But I just want to preface all this by saying, Diana, thank you so much for everything that you do to pull this together and create this community, because that is what it all comes down to. We'll be talking about a piece of infrastructure around renewable energy and democratizing renewable energy, which is critical. We have to reduce greenhouse gas emissions because of climate change. But at the heart of this are systems that need to change and community that needs to be built. This is not just about infrastructure. I'm so sorry. It truly is about, again, changing systems and healing systems. And this is one way to do that. And Christelle and I will do a brief presentation, and then answer any questions if we have time. And I'll hand it off to you, Christelle, and I will start sharing my screen after she does her intro.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Hey, neighbors. Again, Christelle Porter, the executive director of MN Renewable Now, and also the soccer coach at Farview Park and the gymnastics coach at North Henry and Edison. I always got to make sure I am the community. I'm with you guys. I'm not just doing this work around the environment, even though it is my calling. Just like Kyle said, this is an awesome opportunity to be able to democratize our grid. Right now, Xcel Energy has the sole contract to provide power and electricity to our Twin Cities. And that simply should not be the case. I'm somebody that's a firm believer that we should all own our own power, figuratively and literally speaking. We're just basically going to jump into it right away. Kyle, if you could go ahead and start pulling up those slides, that would be great. So yeah, I also, my staff at North High, so this is really exciting to me. I've been going to North High for a while and teaching the youth about solar, how it works, why we need it, and bringing them up to the roof and showing them the North High Community Solar Garden that's right up on top of the roof, that also gives power to their school as well as their community as well. If you could forward it on to the, just keep going, Kyle. And right there. All right, so first and foremost, we have to talk about why. Why are we doing this in the first place? And when I think about it, when I think of climate change, I think of like, when I'm sitting in my car on a hot summer day and it's super, super, super hot inside the car, but just, maybe 80, 85 degrees outside. And that's kind of how our atmosphere operates. In the wintertime, it can be cold outside, but you go in the car and it feels warm because the sun has warmed up the inside of that car. And that's how our atmosphere works. So every morning the sun rises. And as the sun kind of works its way across our globe, the earth heats up. The soil, the water, it heats up. It takes time, that 12 or 8 hours that the sun is up in the sky. And then as it throughout the day, and as the day goes by, then that solar energy slowly emits back out of our atmosphere and back out to space. And that's the natural warming effect. The problem with what we're seeing right now is because all of the extra greenhouse gases that we're emitting through human activity is causing the infrared energy from the sun to stay within the atmosphere much longer. It's causing our globe to warm up. And so, we're starting to see, a lot of issues because of that, especially when it comes to like more storms and more more disease, more pollution. Now this right here is a picture of the coal plant in Becker, Minnesota, and that's actually an oil refinery that blew up in Wisconsin maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, 2018. I wanted you guys to see that because this is how we get our power right now, currently. This is how we power our cars, this is how we power our homes. If you could click forward one. If you look back since 1980 up into 2020, the average amount of CO2 that was in our atmosphere has increased quite a bit in just a very, very short time. I don't know if anybody on this call has ever heard of MN350, but MN350, they got their name because 350 was the amount of parts per million of CO2 that we need to not go over in order to sustain on this planet. Currently, we are above 420. And if you could click forward another time, Kyle. Now, going back 800,000 years, as you can see, we never reached more than 300 parts per million, ever, actually, in the last 800,000 years. How they were able to get this data was, scientists obviously studying in Antarctica were able to drill down miles into the ice and pull up this long plug and study the ice, kind of like the tree rings on a tree. If you look at every single year of the tree, every single ring of the year of its life, they differ in color and shape and size. And that is based on how much water, how much rain, how much sun, how much pollution was in the air during that year. And that's the same with looking and studying at every year of ice, the melting and the freezing. And if you go back 300,000 years, you could see that we had raised up to 300 parts per million. And that was because there was a lot of ash in that ring. And that was because we had a lot of volcanic activity during that time. Now, fast forward to this time, we are, and that was 2017. Now in 2023, we're at above 420 now. 420 parts per million, and that is directly related to our human activity. And because of that, you can go ahead and you can go forward again, Kyle. And because of that, we're starting to see sea levels rise because the glaciers are melting. Actually, Glacier National Forest, the glacier is actually almost completely melted for the first time ever in human life. Because we're seeing the sea levels rise, we're starting to see more extreme weather patterns. And I like to relate that to heat and energy. So if you could just remember the simple science level of energy and atoms and how that works is if I have a hot cup of tea, like everybody here, a lot of people have a hot cup of tea in front of them. And if I got a cup of iced tea in front of me, my cup of hot tea that is, 95 or 110 degrees sitting in front of me, the atoms are bouncing off of each other at about 110 miles per hour. Whereas the iced tea is bouncing off of each other about 40 miles per hour. So when you increase the energy in anything, then we start to see extreme weather patterns on our planet. And because of it, now we're seeing floods, more drought. So extremities, you're going from flood to drought, from drought to flood. And then, of course, when you see that, then you start to see a lot of our precious organisms and ecosystems start to die off. And we start to see an increase in disease as well.
Christelle, can I throw in there a quick anecdote? Patsy Parker, who works for years with Growing North and Project Sweetie Pie on the North Side, spoke at the Community Connections Conference recently about climate change in North Minneapolis. And she said, it is here. Their gardens, basically, some of them just died last summer because of the heat, because of the lack of rain, and because of the lack of access to water. Now, not everybody felt it the same way. But it was such a profound local story. I mean, as she said, we have climate refugees in North Minneapolis. So this is not just a far away problem. Yeah,
exactly. And, to be honest, last year and I know you guys all remember the drought. I hope you remember the drought. It was the first time I ever felt crunchy grass on my bare feet because I earth a lot. I go outside and earth. And, when we heard that Minnehaha Falls was not falling, what do you think that did to the biodiversity within, Minnehaha Creek? That's a big deal when you hear something like that. That's never happened before in our lifetime. And it wasn't just that body of water, it was many bodies of water. And just a few short years before that, we saw massive flooding. Some of the parks in Minneapolis were completely flooded out. And so this is the extremes that we're talking about. And that's just a small little taste of what we possibly can experience if we don't get a handle on it. So real quickly, I'm going to go through the next couple of slides real quick. So, Minneapolis, most of our greenhouse gas emissions which is crazy, is coming from our commercial and industrial buildings, 46%. And then just below that is our transportation, driving our cars, the larger transportation vehicles that are delivering all our goods and services into the city. And then next would be our residential buildings. If we were able to cut those three things down drastically, we'd be able to really get a handle on it. And that is through first and foremost energy efficiency, addressing the envelope, tightening things up, sealing things up, and making sure that our utilities are more energy efficient. And then the next step would be obviously increasing our load. So most homes in Minneapolis and St. Paul only have 120 volts of electricity in their panel in the basement. And really, we need to increase it to 240 volts of electricity. And that way we can electrify. And if we electrify, then we can go 100% renewable. So there's steps that we have to take in order to get there. And so, when I look at this, I go, okay, let's first and foremost hit that energy efficiency mark. And then look, ways to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. It just basically matches up to the other. Let's address the envelope, building energy efficiency. And then of course, when we are able to electrify, then we can increase the electric load in our home and then electrify. And we don't have to heat our homes from natural gas. We don't have to heat our water from natural gas. We can get an electric vehicle and plug it up at our home. We have enough electricity to be able to do that. And we can also install renewable energy options as well. Next step, and then I just wanted the last slide real quick, I did want to say something about that. We do here in America, we do live comfortably. We are very privileged. And what's crazy is we are one of the largest contributors to greenhouse gases in the world. And, what's really sad is that if you look at this map, the folks that have the highest vulnerability are not largest contributors. So that goes to the next slide. And here we are, and especially North Minneapolis, and the Hawthorne neighborhood knows this very well. Black people are 75% more likely to live near hazardous waste facilities. You know this when we're talking about GF. You know this when we're talking about the HERC. We have 2 rooftop shingle factories in North Minneapolis, not just GF, but also Owens Corning, which is up by the railroad tracks. We also have 5 metal recycling facilities, not just one. And we are positioned right next to where the entire Hennepin County, every single city in the Hennepin County sends their trash to burn here in our community. People of color in the US are exposed up to 63% more pollution than they produce. 63% more than they produce, while white people are exposed to 17% less. And so, when I bring this stuff up, it is very much so an environmental justice issue. A lot of people are going to be able to escape it because they might be more privileged. They might be able to turn on that central air. They might be able to escape it for a time being. But the thing is people of color are going to feel the first effects and the strongest effects of this. So that's why it's very important to pay attention to these issues and actually get a handle on it right away. But at the end of the day, we're all going to feel it. We're not going to be able to escape it. And so it's best to just start everybody, all hands on deck. And of course, this slide right here, the reason why it affects us more, we are more likely to be affected by it first and foremost, and we have been for a very long time, is of course racist redlining. And if you know about the racial covenants, and the Black community was, strategically placed in places that were by heavy and light industrial areas in Minneapolis because they were undesirable places to live. And because of it, we have the highest rates of cancer, asthma, chronic bronchitis, and lead poisoning in our children and our families. So I'm going to pass it on to Kyle, because I want to get into really about what we're here for. And that is, we have an amazing community solar garden on top of North High School. And that is a wonderful opportunity to be able to take matters in our own hands, lower our carbon footprint, and also be in a position where we own the power and we can sell that power to Xcel Energy. So now we become the power company ourselves. So Kyle, go ahead.
Thanks, Christelle. And yes, I mean, this work really, we'll talk about the North High Community Solar Garden, and we'll kind of go through this information quickly, but know that you can reach out to us anytime. We are glad to come talk to other groups about this and explain this more. Some of you are hearing this for maybe a second or even third time, but I know for me, we are all learning this together. I will always be learning. We all will. And there really is only one way to do this work and make these changes, and that's together. I mean, we've heard all the, it's dire, and these issues are based on deep systemic, traumatic problems. And there are so many of us that are working to create incredible solutions, including pretty much everyone on this call. So makes me hopeful and excited. But the way community solar works, and I'll get into some pictures and less text here, but basically a community solar garden, there are 900 panels on the top of North High School. Those panels will produce energy that will go into the grid. These panels are not connected to your house or apartment, and people can buy a share of that energy, and Xcel is required by law to pay them for that renewable energy. I will say that Xcel had to be and still has to be pushed to do this well and do it right. So there are a lot of environmental justice issues to deal with Xcel. This is, one little visual. Christelle and I went up with some teachers and students at North. This is such an exciting opportunity for them to see, first of all, Black leaders in the community leading these projects, from Jamez Staples, who owns Renewable Energy Partners and is our developer, to JT Thomas, who Christelle just took him up on the roof with students from North. They can see, a Black business owner installing panels all over Minnesota, and that this is a career that they can have as well, especially at the training center that is already launched at North High. So this is a cool visual from the air to see those solar panels. A lot of people don't even know they're up there because you can't see them from the ground. So it's really our job to kind of bring that down to the ground level. The second from the left, that's JT Thomas, who owns Go Solar Construction, who is our solar installer. And as many of you know, Jamez Staples, North High alum, owns Renewable Energy Partners, who is our developer. And basically, again, the way it works is that you're a subscriber. Well, I'll explain how that works. You buy a share of this energy, it goes into the grid, is measured, and you get a bill credit each month on your electric bill according to how many subscriptions you have and how much the array produces. We intentionally designed, I just kind of said that, we intentionally designed this program to be accessible. And we'll get into this a little bit more, but I love visuals. I'm a visual learner. This is just a kind of a pretend bill. Like, this is what your bill credit will look like on your electric bill. It comes directly from Xcel. And then you'll get a report from Minneapolis Climate Action, who's kind of the garden, manager, subscriber manager, I should say. You'll learn how much did your shares produce, how much did the garden produce, and how much energy. And then you'll see how much you save. So I'll say quickly, there are two ways to participate. People can pay up front. for their $950 for a 1 kilowatt share. But we intentionally designed this. People can pay for their subscriptions as they go along. We don't check credit score. You can rent or own. We don't check immigration status. We don't check income level. Anyone can participate in Hennepin County or a county next to Hennepin County technically, but we are prioritizing, first of all, North High families, North High neighbors, North Minneapolis residents. And again, you know, people, the only requirement is that you pay your own Excel bill. And this just shows, I would go dizzy looking at this, but people like, there is a, you know, sample return on investment. No one's going to get rich, but the fact is that you can own energy and reduce your electric bill. There are opportunities for STEM and STEAM learning at North with this. North also gets to, the city of Minneapolis is also a subscriber, as well as North High School. So they get to get a benefit and a reduction in their electric bill. And it positions North High as a leader in not only reducing greenhouse gas emissions, but learning opportunities and environmental justice issues. Community solar, like Christelle and I have been saying, really, it's a powerful to address climate change and racial and environmental justice, depending on how the program is designed. And again, we intentionally designed it to be accessible. You don't have to put a dime up front, you know, to participate in this. And we're really looking to democratize, you know, renewable energy and bring these benefits down to the community. We are also, I can't remember if I have a slide on this, we are working with neighborhoods all over the city. We're working with Central and Bryant on the south side, and with Sabathani on resilience hubs and community solar gardens. And really at the heart is community building around climate and environmental and racial justice. And then the infrastructure comes with that as solutions, not just a solution with no regard to kind of how we got here. We have, I'm just going to stop sharing there. And again, just say that this is, oh, I forgot to mention, I started to say the neighborhoods we're working with, including Hawthorne. We've been in conversations with at least 11 different neighborhoods to create a model where neighborhood organizations own the community solar garden at a level that works for them. And then they get an income stream from these community solar gardens. So once again, and of course, neighborhood organizations, their, profits go back into the community. And so we're really looking to bring these benefits down to the community level, because if we make the same mistakes that got us here and let giant energy companies own all this renewable energy, we will have failed and recreated the same system that got us here. You know, and Excel has, we have some pretty deep issues with Excel. These panels have been on the top of North High School for 14 months, and we are still waiting for Excel to get it connected. Our other garden at Emerge Second Chance Recycling has been there for 18 months. They have 3 people working on subscriber management when their CEO makes $22 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
On our dime. We pay
to put
for
that into perspective, about 180 households could have been powered for the last year and 3 months. That's a lot of carbon that could have been avoided.
Yeah. And
immediately. So, but it will be hooked up soon. And of course, yes. Subscribe, you're not paying for it while it's not hooked up.
Right.
You are paying for it until it is, until the power is actually going into the grid. So that's good as well.
Exactly. And I'll put some links to some resources in the chat again. I know we're probably over time, Diana. No, not okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Clarence Jones, I do. So you're talking about other neighborhoods. Are there other neighborhoods? Are they going to have their own separate solar gardens, or are we just doing it all with North High?
You know, community solar gardens can be developed anywhere. This one in particular that was developed by Jamez. That one, anyone can subscribe to it. To be honest, anyone can subscribe to it as long as they live in Hennepin County or any county that touches Hennepin County. That's a state law that was actually passed with Excel, and another evil thing about Excel where they limit the whole what do they call it, adjacency law. That's what it is, adjacency law. Because reality is anyone should be able to subscribe to it as long as they're an Excel customer. But yes, there are new community solar gardens that are being developed and popping up all the time. The thing is, and this is one thing that I like to point out to folks, is this is a unique moment in time. We do not know what will happen the next legislative session. Every single year, something else happens. And especially when it comes to energy, something this huge, because we all depend on something like this. That is, it's a huge moneymaker. And there's only a few people or a few companies or corporations that are involved in getting us our power. Mm-hmm. So what I mean by that is we never know what's going to happen in the name of community solar. Who knows? One legislative session away from, we don't know who's going to get elected next, and we don't know where the powers are going to lie when it comes to our legislatures. So we could end up losing community solar altogether, but those who are in it now. And so, so when I talk about rooftop solar, like single family homes, people putting rooftop solar on their home, that's not as much a threat to Xcel Energy as community solar is. Mm-hmm. And being is, there's only so many single family homes. There's only so many people that can afford to put solar on their home, even if they have a home. And if they can afford, they might not have the proper roof for it. So there's a limited amount of roofs that can actually have rooftop solar. Community solar can go on any flat roof, can go on a pole and mount in a yard or a field or a park, and people can subscribe to that whether they own a home or not. So that means this opens it up to every single person. That's why Xcel Energy doesn't like this, because anybody who has an Xcel Energy bill can be a community solar subscriber. This is an actual way to democratize our grid, an actual way to democratize community solar and to involve every single person.
And so I have a question. Let me do a real quick follow-up question. My follow-up question is that what's happening to that power that's not going into the grid?
So it's not even hooked up into the grid right now.
Right. I'm saying what's happening?
It's hooked up, but they're not drawing from it right now.
No, I mean, it's not even, it'll be connected to the grid in July. I mean, the panels are just sitting there.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there for these 14 months.
And literally they could go bloop and flip on the switch, but it's not, because they're slow walking it. And Xcel Energy has, gotten in trouble for slow walking community solar. And trouble, they got sued $1 million, but that's still nothing to them.
So do we lose that power? I mean, I guess that's what my question is. I mean, so it's not hooked up to the grid. Does it go back to the sun or what? I mean, I don't get that.
It's just sitting there. It's just sitting there.
Oh, it's sitting there. Okay.
Yeah. Right. I mean, if it's attached to a series of wires, and once those wires are not actually connected to the grid, it's not going anywhere. They're just the solar panels sitting there getting done. It's not serving any purpose. And that's really sad to me.
It's lost potential.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think what Clarence is saying is that Xcel is still making money because they're not hooked up. We're not hooked up to it. So therefore they're still getting that money.
Exactly. And that's why they're taking their time, because this is money that they would potentially be losing because they pay the subscribers that are subscribing to it. They'd have to pay them for that power.
So my question is, they're still in control.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, Peter. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Well, I just feel like this is why these conversations are so important, because I think most people are not aware. There's so much going on in our lives. There's only so much you can be aware of. They're not aware. And to us, the more people that know about the opportunity, that sign up for it, and then know what they're missing, that is pressure on the Public Utilities Commission. Our city council is kind of waking up. There are some city council members who are mad, really mad at Excel, which helps. So everyone that understands what's at stake and what Excel is doing, it helps. And to use our voices to make sure that they're doing the right thing.
Thank you.
And we do have active, site selection. We're hoping we do have to have a kind of a minimum roof size. It can't just be, like a little tiny roof. But we are in active site selection. We need help in doing that. We need more resources. We're working actually with Tech Dump over in St. Paul. They have a huge roof. And so that'll probably be our next community solar garden. But again, you don't have to live, it can be a community solar garden that the Hawthorne neighborhood owns, or, part owns and gets some income from. So,
yeah. And that's something.
But I will say quickly too, sorry, Christelle, North is almost full and we really want North side families to be in this community solar garden. There are some families that aren't, from the North side that are in it. But we are prioritizing that. And it is filling up fast. We probably have room for about 10 more families to sign up, or individuals. And so I just want to really emphasize that if you know people interested, I'm meeting with Brett from Seeds of Harvest next week to get a bunch of the Seeds of Harvest families involved. So again, it's filling up fast. But even when this fills, we want to create that community knowledge, connection, and solidarity around building the next one.
Yeah, and we have talked about in the past, and I, as you guys probably know on here, I used to be the executive director of Cleveland Neighborhood Association, and Diana Hawkins. We have talked about this with other neighborhood associations. There's about 74 neighborhoods in the city of Minneapolis. 70 neighborhood associations in Minneapolis. A lot of them still have quite a bit of NRP funds left over. And this is actually a way to actually continue to fund the neighborhood association. If each neighborhood was able to move some of their dollars to build a community solar garden in their community, and they were the ones to maintain that community solar garden and subscribe their neighborhood into this, you're building wealth within the community. Now you've got members that own solar that are selling it back to Excel, and then you've got the neighborhood that is getting that is securing those dollars every single month by providing the maintenance of that community solar garden. So it's a way to keep money in the neighborhood and keep those NRP dollars coming back and keeping that neighborhood alive. So I honestly am talking with legislators right now and lobbying them about reintroducing NRP within a green lens, and not just the city of Minneapolis, but across the entire state of Minnesota, so that we can and actually acknowledge the fact that we are in the middle of a climate emergency. And the thing is right now, when I talked about energy efficiency, going back to energy efficiency, at the rate that we're going to get these buildings energy efficient, it would take 290 years, because we don't have enough people trained. We don't have enough resources. People do not have enough money to get the work done in their homes. And so the reality is we're going to need something drastic to be able to make it happen. And that's just energy efficiency alone. So let alone increasing the load. How many electricians are out there that can actually get out to all these homes and increase the load? How many plumbers and how many contractors can get out and actually make these updates on these households? So we got a lot of work to do. And I really, truly believe that this model with NRP and neighborhood associations is a way to be able to get there in a way quicker way.
Right. I do want to give it, I think Kenna had to leave, but I did, Kenna Kottman was one of our first subscribers last year at PowerFest. So that was super exciting. And Sean also is as well. And yes, Princess, there is a solar array on a community solar garden on top of Shiloh Temple as well. And that is done with Cooperative Energy Futures, another solar developer, and Minnesota Interfaith Power and Light, which are partners. I think the beautiful thing about the Twin Cities is there's so much cohesion and partnership amongst not only the environmental organizations, but again, like our work with Central and Bryan on Southside Goes Green, and and working with Hawthorne and Neighborhood Hub, and it's powerful, and we need to use that power fast as possible. All right, I want to say as fast as possible. The urgency thing can get in the way of the community building, and I don't ever want to forget that. We do not rush past that. To us, we sat with 5 Spanish-speaking community members the other night and talked for 2 hours and just visited. And to us, that is the crux of this work.
It is, because no matter what, we could address the issue and fix the problem, but if we don't build the community, we'll just end up right back where we are.
Yeah.
So
Listen,
that's the reality.
What a wonderful presentation. This is excellent and great work. Let me say 2 things. I'm going to share with you what my previous conversation with Kyle and I'm having a mental a moment here, but I don't know if I'm sharing this yet or not. So I'm going to share this. What you guys inspired, Kyle and Christelle inspired. Are you seeing my my picture there?
Yes.
So we just talking to them helped us visualize this idea of our community broadcasting, embracing, reflecting our commitment to Northside going solar. And I think that from my position as an editor of the community newspaper, our job is to support the idea, the ideation, so that our people have a mental image of who we are, what we're doing, where we're going. And I think this was a powerful way to present that to the community. And I want to flip inside and show what we did in terms of a Crystal story called a column by our reporter, Brenda Lyle Gray, called Planet Rescue. And it was based on the interview that we did with you guys, Kyle and Crystal. So thank you for that. But I had this comment. I'm wondering, in the spirit of collaboration and cooperation, would it be possible, or how could we create a partnership with Insight News that provides ongoing marketing in our newspaper every week? I think the key is the presentation of the message all the time, everywhere. And if there's a way that we can figure out how to bring this message forward on an ongoing basis in a way that also allows me to maybe find advertising dollars, even if they come from the energy company. What if we got them to pay for running ads at Insight News every week, and the ads content is to get subscribers, to create awareness and involvement? Our community, our business wins. We're a Northside business. The business wins. It's revenue for us. All of the partners in the community win. The mission wins because we educate the public, and we keep that education initiative live and fresh every week. In fact, every day, because we're doing virtual stuff as well. So I'd love to work with you up on that. I want to also say that because you were so powerful in your presentation, I was moved to both sign up to subscribe and also to have Crystal's team come out and look at putting solar on the roof at the Marcus Garvey House. I had a schedule conflict, didn't complete either one, but I want to publicly say that I want to get, before those 10 subscriptions get locked out, I want mine. So I'm claiming that right now to get it done today. And Crystal, I'm going to also reach back out to you because I want to move on getting panels both on my residence and on Thomas Avenue and on the building, the Marcus Garvey House. So,
Al, I really appreciate that you mentioned that, because one of the things that I've always been doing, I've been doing this my whole life. I've been made fun of growing up in North Minneapolis, called a tree hugger, because I'm always talking about the environment. I'm always talking about, you gotta recycle, don't litter. And you know, I always dreamt of having someone like you say this to me, because you know, I'm like, if I could get a leader in the community, especially a Black man, to stand up and speak out on these issues, then I feel like our community will follow. So this is huge. And if you're willing to do that, then I would love to work with you to make sure that this.
Let's make it happen. And
Yeah.
I'm saying this so that everybody on this call can help support us working together to elevate.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
to
it doesn't
achieve
have to
the
be
potential.
just me and Kyle, but like just having an area within your newspaper to talk about the climate issues and plug you into all of our network, you know,
Let's
so
make it happen.
have stuff to talk.
Right.
Great.
Well, and if anyone knows building owners, you know, large building owners, please reach out to, you know, Christelle or me, because we need to get some sites besides Tech Dump going ASAP. And no one has to be an expert on any of this to jump in.
Yeah.
Super, super, super. Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Oh, and Peter Hayden actually mentioned that Turning Point just installed solar on their properties.
Hey.
I have a video of them installing that solar onto the roof. I was so excited, jumping for joy when I saw that happening. So Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your hard work. Just quickly, Turning Point is turning 46 years old, well, today, but we're going to have a celebration, a family day at Turning Point Friday. And I'd like for Al to have his camera, and for you, maybe Christelle, or I don't want you to speak, Kyle, but maybe just be there to show what's happening in the community. I have talked about chemical health, mental health, and environmental health. Even people who are trying to change their lives are starting to understand that. So I appreciate your efforts, really, and anything that I can do, even though the installation didn't go through your company, I certainly will. The other 4 buildings we have, when we come to that, we'll come to you. But keep us surprised. You just don't know what's going on until we have these types of meetings, Diana.
Right. And of course, all those issues of mental health, you know, physical health, environment, they're inextricably combined. You cannot pull them apart. You cannot pull racial justice out of environment, out of health, out, you know, yeah. I'm not saying anything that, you know, no one doesn't already know, but it needs to be emphasized again and again.
It needs to be said again and again. So thank you, Kyle, for saying it again and again. Let's move on. Next on the agenda is the Hawthorne Neighborhood Report. Diana?
Well, does anybody have any announcements that they want to make? Because the only thing I have is the coalition, the Northside Urban Coalition. We're going to meet on June the 17th. And we're going to talk about the Metro Blue Line extension. And that's going to be a real interesting topic because a lot of people have a lot of mixed feelings about that. So that is my only announcement. But if any other announcement, just raise your hand and I'll have you chime in, okay?
Kenna has an announcement.
Go ahead.
I can go after Carrie Jo.
Kenna, go ahead.
Okay, my camera's not working, and can I please share my screen? I just want to talk about below the Northside Arts Crawl, but I wanted to go after Carrie Jo, actually.
Let's do it that way. Carrie, why don't you go first, and then Kenna, you can certainly let you share. Carrie?
You're muted, baby!
Hey, Carrie Jo.
Unmute, Carrie Jo.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
All right, sorry about that. I was like, that was really smart, Kenna. I wish I would have thought about that, sharing the screen. Too late now. But I put in the chat a link to our Juneteenth page. And we're gonna have Javante Patton this year and Chase Innovation, which is the only Prince cover band that Prince let be. For some reason, I don't know, but Jelly Bean, when he was like, we would go down and play, and Doc has played there, and everybody, Sheila E, they come in and they just jump in. But we're gonna have them for the last evening, for the last couple hours of the day. So if you're a Prince fan, that would be the place to be. And then we also have our parade starting at 10:45, the Fremont Avenue parade going down Fremont Avenue at 10:45. And so you guys can go outside and try to win prizes. We have bikes to give away this year. So it'll be really fun. And I know that there'll be free ice cream for the kids at the park when we get there. And I don't know, it's just going to be a beautiful thing. We're going to do the kites in the sky again. That was a pretty awesome thing. And water balloon toss, which I think is going to be pretty hilarious. And so
The date again?
that's Saturday, the 18th at Bethune Park.
Great.
I just want to add to that, if you guys really want more information on this, join us on Monday at 1 o'clock on Conversation with Al McFarlane on our leadership. And Carrie Jo will be speaking more on this, because it's interesting to find out how this particular group of Juneteenth moved from this place to that place over the years. So just join us. I'm done, Kenya.
Great image.
Hey, it's me. I'm Kenna. Hi, thank you, Miss Diana. Thank you, Carrie Jo. Can y'all see the screen? Can y'all see the Juneteenth flyer?
Yep.
Okay, Carrie Jo, thank you for putting that together. And it's a great lineup and a lot of people supporting it. But I'm also here to talk about Flow, the Northside Arts Crawl, which is not until July. So right now we're kind of at the stage where we're still seeking artists and sponsors and sites to be a part of it. So if anything applies to you that you see, like, art can be very broad in terms of your interpretation. And Northside, just because we're the West Broadway Coalition, is also the area. And part of our mission at West Broadway is to increase the vibrancy of the entire Northside. So I did send my press release, Mr. McFarlane, over to the Insight News, but I would love to speak with you further about how we can because some of the media partners are doing open houses during Flow and inviting the community, since now we're able to gather again. And even if you want to do an outdoor pop-up, it'll be awesome. So
Sure.
So anywhere over north, calling all Northside artists, sites, and sponsors to be a part of Flow. You can email me. If you already have my email, just email me. But also you can email me at flow@westbroadway.org. And please follow all the social media. I'll throw some links in the chat. Thank you so much for having me. And as always, the Hawthorne Huddle is a roller coaster ride of information and emotions, and I appreciate it so much gratitude. Thank you, everyone who's a part of putting this annual and monthly thing together. Ashe, peace and love.
That's awesome. And can I just say one thing before I have to, because if I don't, I'll have to shoot myself in my pinky toe. I just want to say thank you to Mr. Peter Hayden. I don't know if you guys knew about the work he did with Juneteenth, but this year, Juneteenth is a national holiday. And that's because people like Mr. Hayden pushed for it for a very long time. And so I just want to say thank you so much for doing that. I get to see it become a national holiday in my lifetime. And I'm just grateful.
Thank you.
And
Any
I
other
think
announcements?
Patrick
yeah.
has been dying to say something.
Patrick, then Princess again. Patrick?
Oh, thanks for that. Just a moment. I dropped it in the chat. Big Brothers, Big Sisters, we're always looking for volunteers, mentors. I'm a mentor. I started with Big Brothers, Big Sisters in 1998. It's life-changing for the Bigs. But we also we're trying to do a lot more efforts to serve more youth in North Minneapolis. So if you know of families that have kids age 8 to 13, especially as we head into summer, if they're looking for another caring adult in their life, and I could speak for hours on the impact that'll bring a youth, please take my email, write to me directly, go to our website. There's all the buttons, be a volunteer, enroll in child, all those things, but would love to work with any of you.
Great. Princess.
Yes, and I'm trying to get to share the screen. I'm not even finding my Zoom page back, but we are hosting overdose prevention and safety training at Uroc. I mentioned that earlier. I showed the flyer. I can upload the link or get it connected to Diana so that she can share with everybody. So I'm hoping if you're interested in learning how to use naloxone to save a life and prevent an overdose, we're using the harm reduction method while we're doing this. And we're doing this human partnership, of course, Hawthorne, the city of Minneapolis, Steve Rumler's Hope Network is going to be actually facilitating the training. We'll have a light meal. We have tons of people that are interested already. So we're going to be doing 3 of these events first off and hoping that we can do more.
Princess, you could share now if you'd like. I just made you a co-host so you can share.
Okay, let me share that. All right, where's the share button?
Bottom of your screen, maybe.
Technology.
Okay, there we go. I got
Should
it.
be green, yeah.
There you go.
And can you see it, or what can you see?
We can see it.
Okay. You might see my Minnesota courts and all the other stuff I'm studying, like Diana talked about. But I know you put the information in the newsletter, and we have an Eventbrite link. As soon as we get that confirmed, I can send that link over so that people can sign up and you can share with your networks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and then let me add something to that. I just want to share this with you timely. In our upcoming edition of Insight News, we focus on the Black, Latino, and Native American organizations. This is a national story forming a consortium to address alcohol-related harm in the U.S. And that's what we're doing here in Hawthorne at the Northside Coalition is really ahead of the curve nationwide. But the story is big and the work is big and resources are being available. So I just want to say this as encouragement to us here in the Northside and in the coalition to continue to work together and to be part of a national, perhaps global initiative to address opioid and other substance abuse challenges that we are experiencing. So our work is consistent with the movement nationally. Any other questions or comments on either announcements?
I just
Diana, go
want to
ahead.
say one. I'm gonna do this for Miss Ann. I let her be quiet this month because she talked all last month. So I'm gonna do this for her. Just so you guys know, July we don't meet. That is our break. But when we come back in August, I just want you to know that the huddle will be 26 years old when we come back in August. And I am so grateful to the 7 other people that stood by me and helped me do this from my living room to now to grow as big as we have in 26 years. So I just wanted to throw that out because I just saw her the other day, and I have to give all accolades to my best friend, Miss Rita Clark King and Miss Hillary Freeman for bringing me together out of that shell and to say, we're going to take our neighborhood back and create this huddle. So I just want to share my appreciation with everybody on that. And I want to thank all of you guys for over the years being here with me. And for a little bit I was gone, but I'm back and I got 2 great partners with me. So I appreciate Ann and Al every month. That's all I have to say.
Well, we're ready to end on time, 5 minutes early. Any other questions or comments at all? With that, we'll adjourn the meeting and hope that all of you have a great, great day. We'll see you next month. And in between, keep up the good work. Thank you all so very much. Take care. Bye-bye. We'll be presenting this program, I think, later today at 1 o'clock to our social media. We'll live stream it at 1 today. So you can share it with people. And we live stream it not only to the Insight News local, but to the national Black press of America as well. So check it out. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.